Oh wow, there's a delay, isn't there? All right. Just waiting for Jace to join us, and then we'll be on. Hold tight, y'all. Hold tight. So, mate, talk to me about the origin, the producer, I guess the processing style, why this coffee stood out to you, and sort of why this coffee stood out to you, mate. For it. Can you edit this at the end? I don't know. I've never done this before. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, boy.
Good news is I'm here. Bad news is my microphone my AirPods decided to break. So.
Oh, I can hear you loud and clear, brother.
How's it going?
Okay. Yeah, good. Yeah, it's just, one of those days where everything falls in the same spot. So you just got to prioritize. You know how it is.
Keep rolling with the punches, my man.
Well, you're fitting out a cafe, so you've got to be immune to those punches, mate.
Yeah, I just found out we're one box of tiles short, and the install for the coffee machine is tomorrow, and they're saying that there's no more tiles unless I drive to Brisbane now. So,
walk and talk, brother.
So it's all those fun and games. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to pop on the live for at least 10, 15 and
Yeah, let's do it.
hopefully give the people a good show.
That sounds good. All right. Okay, a little bit of an introduction. My name's Todd. I'm from Full Spectrum. This is Jason from Willy's Beans. Essentially what today is all about is just a coming together of importer and roaster as well, especially for something that is a new product, which is sort of the specialty single origin instant that we've been creeping into. I met Jason for the first time just as a cold call, really. He dropped into the warehouse and had a couple of some stellar coffees, which I really enjoyed the profile of. The thing that it was perfect timing for Jason to arrive at the warehouse because it was at a time where the instant coffee program was really starting to come into its own. But I was also having to force myself to think a little bit differently about how I buy green coffee or the style of green coffees that I'm buying now specifically for instant production. The two coffees that I loved on the table that day was a Tavi and the Yellow Bourbon that we're roasting today. Both of them had really expressive acidity, really good texture across the two of them as well, and a fruit element that when all of those three things are put together, they really amplify in an instant product. So I thought it'd be a great opportunity just to do something a little bit different and to, just sort of benefit the roasting community, benefit the drinking community, and just benefit a personal relationship between a couple of legends. So it's So what we'll, I think just to structure, as you can hear, the roast is just heating up now. We're going to be doing just one roast of this with Jason, and then a separate to that, I'm going to be taking the second half of this bag of Yellow Bourbon and doing another live stream next week so we can reference two of them up against one another. I'll speak a little bit more about it, but while this heats up, I'm going to load the coffee. For the first couple of minutes of the roast, Jason can talk about Willy's Beans and about Andreas Londono and just the coffee in general. Where Willy's Beans is going from December, January, February into a new space. And Jason will tell you a little bit about it now. So I'll load this up now. Should see the color of this grain.
Beautiful, huh?
Absolutely stunning. Yeah, and there's aroma on it as well. Baller.
Well, I mean, you introduced it so well. I don't think I need to say anything. Maybe I'll just.
I've had more time in front of the camera in these last 2 weeks than I ever have in my entire life. So
No,
it gets
that's
easier.
great. And I think the awesome thing about a live stream like this is it's a very natural way where the coffee community, but both on the professional side and on the consuming side as customers, can get to know you and get to know me in more of a casual setting, which I think is really cool. Sure. Firstly, thanks for inviting me along to this. Sorry I wasn't able to be a bit more dialed in with it, but like I said, there's a million and one things going on. For me at Willy's Beans, it's been a fast roller coaster the last 2.5, 3 years since I made the decision to invest in a farm and solely get my coffee from that farm, working with the one producer. It's a very unique relationship, I think, because what first started out is I called Andres and I said, hey, I'm going to come and invest in your farm. I know there was a company that owned most of the land, so you could invest in the company, but they weren't really wanting investors, but it was more of a way that I could, cut my teeth into it and have a bit of skin in the game. And a part of the deal was that I would move X amount of containers a year. And me being very naive, I thought, oh yeah, well, this is amazing coffee. That will be easy to do. And then I realized very quickly that you can have amazing coffee, but that doesn't equate to anything really. It's the relationships. It's really showcasing that not only do you have a good coffee, but it can be replicated time after time, harvest after harvest. You can deliver on time. There's so many aspects that go into the import-export game. And then so I decided, well, I'll roast the coffee because then it'll be easier to just sell to cafes. And then I realized very quickly that cafes want a reduced house blend and they want 30 grand's worth of equipment minimum, plus all the training and everything like that. And I said, well, I've already invested hundreds of thousands of dollars at the farm level, and then now I'm going to have to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars to have 4 or 5 cafes. That doesn't really work. And so here I am. I'm now owning my own venues. I'm roasting a little bit of coffee for wholesale, and I'm also partnering with people like yourself to do the green beans. And honestly, I think it's the most sustainable way to do it because I pay for the coffee before it's even picked. So most people won't know this, but that's 4 to 5 months before I've actually recovered the money from, if I'm getting it from a roaster or I've roasted it myself and I'm getting it from a cafe. So that's a really shitty cash flow business. It's a really shitty cash flow business. But if you do it and then you roast a little bit, you partner with people like yourself, and then you've got 1 or 2 venues where you're making quick cups of coffee, that is a sustainable business because the day-to-day cups of coffee is going to keep me afloat to be able to do all the other things I want to do. So Willy's Beans is really now like my accountant told me yesterday, well, you should have this as 3 or 4 different companies. You've got the green bean company, you've got the roasting company, and you've got the venues. But to be honest with you, I'm not interested in selling anytime soon, and I'd rather just be fully transparent and say it's Willy's Beans, whether it's I'm selling green beans to roasters who I'm partnering with, I'm selling roasted coffee to cafes that I partner with, or if I'm roasting the coffee for myself and selling the cup of coffee. At the end of the day, I'm a big believer in relationships. If I'm selling green coffee to you, I'm not then going to go hit up your cafes and be like, oh, there's Willy's Beans in there, so you might as well get it from me, I think some people forget that at the end of the day, you've got your cafe relationships, and I really love and respect that. And I'm just proud that, one of your cafe partners or wholesale partners or, retail customers get to also appreciate the same thing that I appreciate from the farm that I've partnered with. And I think that's really beautiful. So I don't need to own the whole supply chain. I just want to be able to be a sustainable company and maintain my commitments to the farm. So that's kind of where it's at.
Yeah, of course. So tell us the first time you tasted coffees from Andreas.
Well, I've known him for the last 10 years. So I used to be a physiotherapist for some of the best tennis players and golfers around the world. And I was actually the Olympic physio for Colombia. So one of the biggest things I saw from the farm level was that, everybody was just talking about single varieties. This is a Castillo, this is a Tabby, this is that, whatever, or, regional blends. But then when I'd come to Australia, I'd be saying, oh, we have this blend, we have that blend, we have this, we have that. And I was like, well, blends are amazing. Actually, I just did a Christmas blend with Latitude, but I wanted Willy's beans to purely be varietal based because I wanted to represent what the farmers wanted to represent. So my core range is just like you can get a Tabby or you can get a Yellow Bourbon or you can get a Castillo. And, you know, some people say, oh, Castillo is not that exotic or whatnot, but
Sure.
sometimes you can get the most amazing Castillo because of the fermentation and the processing that goes into it and the sorting and everything else. Like you can still get a high-end coffee even if the variety is not a geisha. You know, I think that's
Sure.
that's a huge misconception as well.
Absolutely. I'm going to get this roast started, but while we're
Let's
doing
go.
that, are you able to just talk a little bit about the processing of this yellow bourbon? And with roasting, I'll just talk about roasting things.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things that I love about Andres as a farmer in general is that with all of his natural processes, they don't get too funky, boozy, crazy where you lose that clean cup. At the end of the day, whether it's 24, 48, 72 hours anaerobic fermentation, natural, like all of the natural processing that goes on is very clean.
Yeah, there's such a
None of
fine
it,
line there between cleanliness and that sort of like overwhelming boozy sensation, isn't there?
yeah, and that's what I really like, especially about this one, is because he's got that balance really well. Like none of the coffees are a co-ferment, none of them are infused. But the thing that I think the reason why I'm glad you picked this yellow bourbon to work with as an instant coffee is because it still had enough fermentation and it's still going to have enough body that it's going to cut through. You know, like I've had a few instant coffees that when you roast them and you make that into that instant process, they're a little bit dull and they lose their expressive nature. Whereas because this is like still a really clean coffee but had that natural fermentation, it has a big enough body, it's juicy enough that it's still going to be really nice when you put it into that instant coffee. So I'm excited to see how much you actually do development, because I found that you can actually go quite far in the development and you're not going to get too crazy roasty notes.
Yeah, I have noticed that. I've just got some samples of it this morning just to get a bit of an indication on where to finish today's roast. And you do notice there's at that higher sort of end temperature, of course, your body starts to boot as well, but that's when you start to take away from all of that sort of layering of acidity. And as soon as you get the quality of the instant's only as good as the extraction that you put into the machine. So it really goes to show that every single step leading up to has to be nailed, you know, and that goes all the way through to the green, through to farm level as well.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest things that I want to say as well is it's such a good point that you make about like each step, right? And I don't know if I'm going too much of a diversion, but with your roasting process and then also being open-minded to the automatic machines, I think that's really cool, man, because like you can have a set profile and automate it on the lowering system. You can have a set profile and you're going to get that consistency, but also then it's the same with the extraction, right? If you really dial in an automatic machine that's extracting the coffee and espresso, I don't understand why people think it's then not specialty, you know?
Yeah, of course. I think you raised the point last time we were speaking with one another, was that I think from an automated machinery point of view, that misconception's always been surrounded by the level of quality of the coffee that goes into them already. You know, it's always been of commercial grade, so that quality misconception is consumers have just always put the automatic machines in a category of poor quality coffee. But it's what's in the offer, isn't it? I mean, that's.
I actually see I see the way that specialty coffee will go is that it'll be automated in the cafe, it'll be automated in the roastery, and
Yeah.
the companies that are doing the best specialty coffee will be investing in farms that have the best practices in how they're farming. That's
Sure.
the one stage that, especially in Colombia, I mean, the altitude, the terrain, I mean, you're picking coffees on the side of a hill like this.
Yeah.
Very, very hard to automate that process.
Oh, of course. Of course. All right. So, from a roasting perspective, I just, after tasting this coffee this morning,
Sorry, I just
uh,
lost you for a second there.
no, it's fun. After tasting this coffee this morning, there was definitely one that stood out, and it sort of mimicked a little bit more of a
Sorry,
profile
mate.
that I would.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. That's all sweet. It mimics a profile that I would usually use for a 35 kilo full capacity batch. So that's the profile that I've chosen to work with today. We're aiming for about 6-minute color change, 10-minute first crack, and about 2.5 minutes development. I found with the length of the roast on the loring, it's not really. Whoops, Jason's gone. He's always there. So the length of the roast. No, I think. Oh, there he is. Hey!
Sorry about that.
I know.
I'm glad I didn't miss first crack. Where are we at?
No, we're super early. But what I was
Yeah,
going to
no.
say, yeah, this it is a 35. It's optimized for a 35 kilo batch, but I really
Yeah.
do like the length on a smaller batch size like this.
Yeah.
Particularly with the lourings, I've found that total roast time doesn't have a huge effect on end cup quality. It's
Yeah.
always what's to do, I guess, post first crack and into the development phase.
Yeah.
So we rely on a little bit of length throughout the middle of the roast just to, I guess, provide adequate development leading into first. Because
Yeah.
we are doing it just a 2.5 minute development, we do need to finish it. So it is nice and zippy. We really do want to amplify that acidity, especially for instant use. But yeah, because it was a 35 kilo batch, you'll see right at the end, at the start there, there's probably excess gas to set us all up. But I mean, are you a 5 kilo or a 12 kilo pro batch?
I'm a 5 kilo and I've just got a 15 kilo that I'm currently restoring.
Check
So,
that. Oh yes, I did see that. Classic. What are your batch sizes and batch times on the pro batch?
so when I'm doing something like the Yellow Bourbon, I'm going to go around 4.5, so slightly under capacity. But
Sure.
actually, if I'm doing like the equivalent to what I'd call like my production or house blend, which is actually just a single variety, the Caturra, I've found that I can get 5.5 kilos in the 5 kilo
Okay.
roaster.
Interesting.
And I found that when I'm doing something like the Yellow Bourbon, because I'm normally going for more of like a filtered roast, it's like I'm going a little bit faster into the first crack and then a shorter
Yeah, sure.
development time. That's what I've found. Whereas with the Caturra, I can really extend that out, and total roast time hasn't really had too much of a impact. It's more of that end temperature that I found is having a bigger impact on the cup quality and like what I'm tasting at the end there.
Sure. How much roasting do people do? I mean, have you done much roasting at Origin?
Yeah, so we've got actually a 12 kilo pro bat on the farm. So I guess that's also another thing that I want people to understand is like there's a lot of marketing around like this poor old farmer and stuff like that. That's not always the case, you know, like it's usually, if you look at all the guys who are producing coffees in your World Barista Championships and stuff like that, they'll have bioreactors, they'll have cherry sorting machines, they'll have a lot of high-tech equipment that is expensive, because to be able to produce such high-quality cups time and time again, you need a lot of data, you need a lot of feedback. So, like the farm Manantiales, it also has its own roasting side, where they've got a brand within that, and they are constantly roasting, cupping, sending me samples. Hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Like, there's a lot that goes into it to be able to produce that time and time again. And that was honestly one of the biggest reasons why I partnered with them, is because they do so much roasting on the farm. And if I was going to come and start doing specialty coffee, I wanted to be confident that I had a partner that would be able to scale and grow with me. I think it's awesome to be able to support other smaller farmers, and it's something that I definitely want to do. But if I'm going to have one main farm that I'm investing in or partnering with, it needs to be one that is big enough to be able to, if for whatever reason I grow to a ton a week or 2 ton a week or something like that, I need to know that they have the volumes and the knowledge and the technology to be able to sustain that. Because I think that's where brands go wrong. They get too big too quick.
I see. Have you found there's more producers verging into roasted coffee as well as their green coffee to diversify, I guess, their selling portfolio, things that they have to market, have to retail?
Yeah, well, it's funny because we literally were just on the farm talking about all the different ways in which it's sustainable for farmers too, because like, they will have years where they have shitty crops. They will have years when they have amazing crops. But if they don't have ways to move it in roasted or in their own cafes, it's the same things as me. They're trying to create, that risk profile be less. And so we were actually on the farm talking about, okay, should we, make the exercise to do decaf on the farm and roast it and make it instant with some of our higher end varieties, whether it's the yellow bourbon that you have or the tabby, because that's a product that they would then be able to, it's a minimum of 4 tons to do the decaf process. But then they could roast it on the farm, package it in decaf, and then send that in the container as well.
Sure.
Don't worry, we're not going to do it. So I'll be doing my instant with you. But
perfect. What's the general feel about decaffeination? Does everyone decaf coffee to diversify their offering? I mean, if it's only an investment of 4 tons.
There's been a big shift, and like I was speaking to a couple of different importers while I was there, exporters while I was there, and I mean, decaf has just been the exact same in instant coffee. It was shitty, like the shitty beans on the farm, you'll decaf. Whereas now, like, I tasted one from the guys, Forest. I'm not sure if you know them. They're set up in Bogota. They have this decaf, a pink bourbon one, which was unbelievable. Then also, obviously, Los Nogales, he's doing an amazing process with his decaf. And it makes sense that there's going to be more people wanting to do that and do better quality. And I think that decaf is in the same lane as instant. Like, if instant can, and you're paving the way here, like, can be done where it's a high-end cup of coffee at scale and it doesn't kill you, well, I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I think that's just the part that I'm just generally always trying to get better is the scale aspect of it. You know, it's every single day there seems to be new constraints that you have to work through. But that's just that's I guess the beauty of something new like this is if you are dedicated to the end result, then it makes the whole process a little bit easier. You know.
Oh, of course.
So we're coming up to pretty much the end of the roast now. All of our markers were hit. We sort of got to color change perhaps a little bit early. Things might be running a little bit fast, but if we can get to 2.5 minutes development here, this is a really, really sort of standardized baseline profile for a half batch.
Yeah.
I would be almost ready to cut it off now. We'll get to 219. I think that's pretty close. But what I'm going to be doing outside of this, after this, roasters, if you're interested, so there we are now.
Looks beautiful. I can smell it from here.
So that's going to yield us about 15 kilos. We're going to use 12 of those for our next batch of instant. That's going to go on in a few days' time. But what I'm going to do outside of this, particularly for luring users, all of that roast just then, as you could tell, was utilising the automation software that is built into the machine. If you are a luring user, you have probably thought about the pyramid gas applications. What I'm going to be doing with the next 17 kilos of this coffee and putting these two roasts side by side is how you go about creating pyramid gas application on a luring that emulates your automated profile. So that's going to be coming up next week. But Jace, you're a super busy dude. You've probably got to get on the road to go to Brisbane now, mate.
Yeah, but hopefully we'll be pouring coffee here Saturday. So we'll keep going. And I promise next time I'm on the live roast with you, I'll have my headphones and I'll be in a quieter space. Sorry about that.
Okay, loud and clear, brother.
All right. Appreciate you, man.
Really appreciate your time, mate. Take care. All the best.
Cheers, man. Bye.
See you, mate. Bye-bye. Okay. Awesome, dudes. So let's just have a look at this profile really quickly. There was... perhaps we were running just a little bit fast, but when we're talking 10, 15 seconds, sensorially, I don't think there's going to be any issues there. But yeah, as I did say, what we are going to be doing from here on is a further sort of refinement of this profile and a bit of a insight on how you do start to develop profiles specifically for luring. We're going to be looking at pyramid gas application and how to go about that based off the information that you already know from your automated profiles. So that's what we're going to be getting into next week. Thank you so much for joining me. As I said, this is something I've never done before. Very, very new to the whole live stream thing. And also just to sharing roasting content as well. Primarily because there was fucking none of this when I was learning how to roast. I was able to rely on a network of mentors that have been incredibly helpful and incredibly generous with their time. Ann Cooper, Scott Rao, Rob Hoos. I mean, all of these guys offer services to make you a better roaster. I don't intend on selling my services at all, but I've learned so much from these people. But roasting is very much an individual expression. So I hope that what I am going to be showing you over the next, however long, I'm not sure how long this is going to last, but it's basically my iteration of everything that I've learned from those people and built into my own system. So if you're able to benefit from anything that I'm able to provide, that makes me fucking stoked, man. It really does, because I know how thirsty I was for information when I was setting out to become a coffee roaster. So the more information that I can give you through this platform, take it. Don't copy it, because that's, I guess, what I'm trying to encourage is utilizing your own style, but sure, take elements. But yeah, rework it to something of your own, because every single roaster, they have their own signature. And I guess our roast profiles are our signature. But if you ever have any questions about anything, please shoot me a DM either through Instagram or through YouTube. And then, yeah, I'll aim to just answer it the best possible way that I can. So thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, I'll see you for the next couple of days. Peace. See ya.